So here I am at Mullaghmore Harbour. Now it is the 19th of September 2024, and I got up at 3 in the morning or something to get here for first light and drove down. So it's about a 4 or 5 hour drive, something like that. And it was a bit hairy because it was dark and we country roads and foggy. So it was quite a stressful drive, but here I am, sun's out, it looks nice, and I'm just parked at Mullaghmore. And just a little view of the harbour. You can see it's lovely and calm, although the fog hasn't quite lifted yet. So I wasn't completely sure. Mullaghmore is a big surf spot. There are very big kind of freak waves around the side of the cliffs, and I do not fancy doing that when it's foggy at all. And also, this is where I had
is where I saw the whale last time. So I'm really actually hoping I don't see a whale today. I know some people will be out there and very excited about seeing a whale, but I don't really want to encounter it again. The second time, it was a fin whale. It's the second largest whale in the world, and I'd say it's September and the sea is probably full of fish right now, and I'd imagine it's out there having a nice time. So I'm really hoping I don't encounter the whale today. Anyway, wish me luck.
Yes, September is generally lots of it's like mackerel season, and there's a lot of fish in that area. Anyway, that's a picture of the fin whale. Of course, I just saw this little bit here, which was big enough and a shock. And then I just saw this big long length of it as it was swimming away. So you know what, I'd probably been dreading seeing a whale so much because I'd watched too many videos on Instagram, and it actually was totally fine. Thankfully, the whale saw me, I saw it, and it cleared off, and I cleared off about the same time. I think it felt the same way about seeing me. So anyway, so I just thought, I'll come back here when the sun when it clears a bit, the fog. So I drove down here into Streedagh, and I thought I would do this nice little sheltered bit in here. Although it's quite tidal, but there's a little harbour here. Look really nice. Well, tide, you can see the tide's out. It's actually going out.
So I found this little harbour, and it looks gorgeous out here. The only thing to watch out for is it does look tidal, and the tide's going out. So just have to be careful. I'm not going to get stuck out in this. This is a little sheltered strip that just runs along the side of the coast here in Streedagh. Streedagh Beach is to the side down here. And I'm just going to make my way along the side of the coast here, and hopefully conditions look really good today, but it's also very foggy. So that's why I'm staying close to the land for this part. I'm hoping the fog will clear and I'll get back out a bit further. But for now, a little progress. It's a nice sunny day as well in September. So we're looking forward to getting out this morning.
That's the thing, you just can't predict the fog, unfortunately. There's no way of telling when you're setting off what the fog's going to be like. Generally, I find if there's a big change in temperature, like it's gone from being cold to very sunny, you'll get fog, or the other way around. Anyway, look how shimmery and lovely the water is. Lovely rays coming down. This is the mountains here in Sligo. And but you can see the tide is going out, and it's beautifully clear, crystal clear water, but it's turning into sand quite quickly. So I had to get back to the harbour quite quickly. You just don't want to get stranded in the sand, and then what do you do? No, and it can be quite marshy. You could get stuck. It could be quite dangerous, actually. So anyway, keeping an eye and trying to get back as quickly as I can. A little bit about me, Pat. There's doing a lot of this. Thankfully, it's calm and flat, so I'm standing. Got my shorts on today because there's a bit of sunblock on. I've got my walkie-talkies and my personal beacon locator. because it's this part's fine, but Mullaghmore, we don't want anything to go wrong. So lots of paddling, very pretty, lovely location. Very good. So I think that's just me talking about the tide and everything. So on the back to Mullaghmore, and this is one of the sort of famous sort of paintings on the side of the road. It's a famous surf spot, so you can see, like, I guess, white horses, these pictures of these white massive waves coming in, and these guys all out surfing on them. Yeah, that's me. Now, on top of the cliffs in Mullaghmore, these would be called the slabs. This, you can see this castle for miles. Classy Bon Castle was owned by the Mountbattens, and when I was doing my Donegal crossing, that's all I could see in the distance on top of the hill. So that's where I knew that's where I was coming in, Mullaghmore. I was just quite nervous. Didn't want to land into this bit. This is where the big wave surf is right here. You can drive around the side of the cliff, so that's quite good. You can see there's good visibility of, and this is a flat day. I've purposely picked this as flat as I can, but you can still see, there's some waves coming through. There's some waves, little set coming through there. So I'm obviously going to be out back here paddling across on my, not my racing board today. It's anyway. So this is the harbour now. These guys are actually struggling with the boats here because it's, look out, this is the harbour and it's just sand the whole way. So the tide has gone really far out.
Harbour, and I was here this morning earlier, but it was very foggy and I couldn't go out. But now the fog has lifted a lot, and the tide is very low now. It was a full moon last night, and it's really low. And I think they're struggling getting the boats in and out. So hopefully it'll be okay. For me, anyway, hoping to get round Mullaghmore headland this morning.
So here I am carrying my board down into the harbour and setting off. It was a bit of a weird thing. Like, I had to get off and walk because it got shallow again. Really low tide. And then I got out round side, and this is me coming now into where the big wave surf spot is. You can kind of hear the waves crashing over here. Yeah, I didn't really catch it on video very well, but there were some little freak waves that were just sort of popping up. So I had to keep my eyes really peeled. All of a sudden, I was like, oh, where did that wave come from? I had to paddle a bit further back to get round. And this is like a really calm, flat day, but look at all the twinkling water. It was very nice, but it was still a little bit eerie, I have to say. I find it kind of eerie too, although should be some. So anyway, you can see in this video, I think, better the swell on my knees, but you can get an idea of it's not totally flat. So the GoPro tends to flatten these things out a bit as well. So it tends to be, it's a little bit, so maybe just trying to catch some videos. So yeah, you can see it's a little bit, it's not totally flat anyway. Anyway, and then this is the beach. So I actually came in on this beach when I was doing the Donegal Bay. This is all Donegal Bay behind me, coming out into the sea. So this is where I landed on my Donegal Bay crossing. And this is the harbour. Yeah, so that's the beach at Mullaghmore, which is nice. That's nice and calm. The other side's pretty hairy with the big waves. And that's the Castlebon Castle. And there's some cows out having a little drink and a munch at the same time. And that's me. So it's quite exciting getting that done. It's the famous surf spot. Very tricky, dangerous wave. It was a huge relief to get that over and done with, and that was a flat calm day. I would hate to be out there in the big waves. Definitely not my thing. Anyway, so paddling on, driving on round to, I found this little harbour, Ragley, and this was a godsend. A little harbour, it was perfect. Now the tide's right up in, you can see it's quite high now. And this was brilliant. It was such a flat, calm day.
I've driven about 2.5 hours this morning to get
back again
down to this is Ragley Harbour, and I picked here to leave from because it's right on a peninsula. So if you turn to the right, if you go on that way, we'll head back to Streedagh, where I finished last time, and then heading this way takes this is Sligo. It's almost like a big bay here with Strand Hill, and I'm aiming to head across towards Aughris on the other side. So put the sunblock on today, but I think it's a bit optimistic. It's a bit cooler today. It's autumn equinox. Very happy autumn equinox. Right.
So this is me back another day, and a lot of this crazy driving up and down. And I really like this wee picture here on the side of the harbour. It was like a little sort of folklore story or myth. And I'll read it to you. Story of a mermaid. A man was fishing off the coast of Ragley, about 4 miles from Lissadell. He saw what he thought was a fine fish and struck it with a harpoon. He did not succeed in catching it, and both fish and harpoon were lost to him. There's a lot of fish in this area. Some weeks later, he was working in a field close to the shore when a very finely dressed gentleman rode on a beautiful horse to him. He talked to the man and asked him to go with him. The fisherman at first declined, but was so pressed by the gentleman to go with him that he said if he would go, would the gentleman leave him back? After a moment's thought, the gentleman promised to do so. They both rode off on the horse. The horse went down to the shore and plunged into the sea and swam some yards, then descended into a cave. There, on a rocky bed, was lying a beautiful mermaid with the harpoon in her side. Her husband, the rider, asked the fisherman to pull out the harpoon and explained that it was necessary to bring that man who struck the harpoon into the mermaid to remove it again, otherwise the mermaid would die. The fisherman removed the harpoon and was then brought back to the field again. The rider explained that only for he had asked for promise to bring him back again, he would be allowed him to return to earth. There you go. I thought it was nice. Always interesting seeing some of the things. There's some fishermen. This is me coming out of Ragley Harbour. Now, this was amazing because I paddled back to Streedagh Beach. So back around here. It's a bit overcast, unfortunately, but tiny bit of swell there. And I was able to stand those, so that's always good. Paddling away. I was able to head back to Streedagh, which is this direction, and then back round here. And this, so I was able to cross here, which was amazing because I was able to cut out. This is Strand Hill, Sligo Town, Ross's Point. There's a lot of area here that I just managed to cut right across, which is also good because Strand Hill is a tricky beach for doing any of this. So I went straight across to Aughris Head, so I was really pleased. And there's the buoy in the distance, and I paddled across that. It was like a mill pond. So
here I am in the middle of Sligo Bay. I have Aughris is over here, which is kind of where I'm heading to. Back there is Strand Hill. And over here is where I've come from, which is a place called Ragley Harbour. And it has been a really good find, that harbour, because I was able to go out this morning and head back to Streedagh and then now make this crossing. And it's been lovely and flat and calm here. In this point, not too much back up there, but just it's the wind direction. Sometimes you turn a corner and you're into the wind. And whereas around here, it's perfect for the middle of the bay. So it's been great crossing today. Bye.
So nice. It's not very often that quite often the elements are against you. It's a bit, can't really see, it's quite dark there, but that was me paddling back and forth across, because it's just me. I paddled across and then back again, and I was parked in here in the harbour, but that was so good because I managed to cut out a massive chunk. This is Ogres in front of me, and that's paddling back to the little harbour where I was. There you go, coming in. And yeah, that's me, all done. So yeah, really pleased, getting some progress, although it's these crazy early starts and driving, which is quite tiring on top of my work and everything else. But anyway, progress. Yay.